In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the common mistakes that people tend to do when they're taking this route. Again, this is one of Mitcham test routes. So we're going to be turning right. Again, the first mistake would be positioning the car a bit too far left. If you can look at this road, it's quite a wide sort of road. So you can see there's plenty of room on the left. So you need to try and keep the car on the right. Just keep it left of the center. And when you get to the end of the road, again, make sure that you don't end up sticking out into the road, because that's another common mistake people tend to do, because there is a bit of a blockage on the left side. If you can look here, there's that building, that the fence, it causes some bit of obstruction. So people tend to sort of lean, people tend to go a little bit over the giveaway lines to try and look and see what's coming on the right, which could potentially be a serious problem. So try to stop at the giveaway lines, and then the best you can do is lean forward as you can so that you can have a good view of what's coming in from your right. This is okay. At the moment, we've got some roadworks here, but again, you need to be careful because there is an entrance to the petrol station on the left side. Make sure that you don't end up blocking that entrance, because somebody might come and he wants to turn right, and if you do that, that could easily become a problem. See this car is now come and is turned right. So if I had gone over and stopped there, that car wouldn't have been able to go in there. So that could possibly have been a problem on my side. So we're just waiting at the traffic lights. Now the lights have gone, and then we move off. Now, before moving off, again, you need to make sure that you check your mirrors, mainly left and right. Check the center if you're changing the gears. Now, the other common mistake would be driving down on this road. It's a 30-mile zone. People tend to go a bit slow on this road because, yeah, again, you've just started the test. You're still a little bit out there, so try and maintain the car at the right speed. What else? Now, they tend to ask you to pull up here on the left, which again can be very busy. It's a very busy sort of road, so you may not be able to, when you come out of here, try to make sure that you've got a good view. Look for a good gap where to pull up, but at the same time, be mindful before you move off so that you don't end up causing obstruction. You don't end up pulling out of oncoming traffic. So check your mirrors, put the signal, and always remember to check your final blind spot before moving off. Okay. So the next one on this, the next direction we're taking at the roundabout, we're going to be turning left. We're going to be turning left, first exit. Directions for Central London and Thornton. So again, look out for cars that could be trying to sort of Okay, let me see. So roundabout, there are 2 lanes. So we need to be in the left-hand lane. Check your mirrors when you get to the roundabout signs, put your left signal, and then in the left lane, you're coming in, you look into your right, make sure there are no cars coming in, and then you merge. The common mistake would be pulling out of the junction, pulling out onto the roundabout with the cars coming in from your right. The cars coming a bit too fast, so you need to have a good view of traffic coming in. Don't rush it. Don't feel the need to rush it. Take your time. Now this road here this is the 30 still. Now this is a bit straightforward. The only thing, so as you're coming towards here, the road is a bit too wide. So again, people tend to go too far to the right side, which is a bit of off. So try and maintain the car a bit left. Because if you go too far right, then cars start undertaking you. For some reason, they may think, yeah, so try and keep the car a bit more left. Or at least in the center, but yeah, don't go too far right. Now this one here, we've got, again, the road gets a bit too narrow because there's a shop on the left, so cars tend to come in, and so you need to be careful about this junction here. Sometimes cars are turning right, so you need to try and don't get too close to the cars if they're coming to turn right, and then leave yourself, be careful before you decide to undertake the cars. Now the next instruction here would be, we're going to follow directions for Selhurst or Thornton, which is going to be, we're turning right. We're turning off the 4th exit on the right. It's a right turn, but we're not exactly, but we're going off. So we need to be in the right-hand lane with the right signal on, and then coming in. Now the other mistake here is, as you go around this bend, it's quite narrow, it's quite tight. You need to try and keep right. Otherwise, you end up in the left-hand lane. And then as you go around, now again, as you go around this bit here, this road, again, you need to position yourself a bit left. Otherwise, if you position right, there's a chance a car might sort of try to undertake you. And then, because once we cross the traffic lights, we need to be in the left-hand lane. So if you get your position wrong at this point, then you might struggle to get the car in the left-hand lane in time, or you could end up. So pretty much point is try and keep it left, and then you don't even need to indicate. You just sort of progressively sort of glide into the left lane, and then at this point you put the left signal, because otherwise, if you put listen to avoid causing confusion, signal on, and then it's this exit here. Now once you turn left here, the first mistake you're gonna get is this zebra crossing. People tend to overlook it. They don't spot it in time, and if you got pedestrians crossing there, you're gonna end up you're not gonna end up stopping for them. So you need to be looking out for that zebra crossing. Now they would ask you to pull up again somewhere along here. Check your mirrors, put your signal, and then there's a bus stop ahead, so try and avoid stopping in the bus stop if you can, and then you pull up, and then okay, so you prepare to move off from here. You check your mirrors, put the signal. Remember to check your final blind spot, make sure it's clear, and then you pull out. Again, make sure that you don't cause cars coming from oncoming traffic to slow down. Don't cross oncoming traffic. That could be another serious fault. Now you're going ahead. That's another zebra crossing there. You need to be looking out for that. There's another one coming up ahead here. Again, you need to be looking out for any pedestrians very close by and stop and wait for them. Now at this point, the lanes, again, the road gets a bit too narrow, and then again, before you start moving from the parked cars, make sure that you check your mirror and then move over. Another zebra crossing there. Again, look out for pedestrians coming in. Look out for pedestrians crossing. Then we continue ahead. Let me see. Now the next situation here, we're coming to a mini roundabout. We're going straight ahead at this mini roundabout. Now this is a bit of an open mini roundabout, so you need to be looking out for the cars, which are another zebra crossing here. Again, before you even get roundabout, look out for them. So when you're coming, look out for, if you got cars coming, turning right from ahead, you need to give way to those cars coming. And then we're turning right. Now again, position here, you need to try and keep in this arrow in the middle to avoid blocking traffic going ahead. And then make sure that there are no pedestrians crossing the road you're turning into. Again, it's quite a busy sort of road. You always have a lot of pedestrians sort of trying to cross there, so look out for them. They would have pulled it up here, so you pull up, make sure that, and then have a good view, signal, final check before moving off, and then move off. Now on this street, the common mistake is it's a meeting situation. The road is a bit too tight. Cars parked on both sides. So pretty much the position, you have to maintain the car pretty much in the middle of the road. But if you get a car coming, again, you need to make sure that if you've got room, if he's committed to coming, that means you have to give him the right of way. So look for a gap where you can pull up and then let him through. If you're the one who is committed to go, that means he would have to give you the right of way. Again, he would pull up somewhere, and then, but there are sections where we can be able to fit at the same time, but there are sections where it gets a bit too narrow, whereby you can't really fit. So you just need to be a bit mindful of the gaps. Make sure that you don't end up squeezing yourself into a gap which is not wide enough. Then at the end, we're turning left. Now the mistake here is there's a bit of an uphill situation, an uphill start, because there's a bit of an incline. So the first thing is the position. You need to try and, again, it's quite wide sort of road, you need to try and keep as far left as possible, because there's plenty of room for cars which are coming to turn right. So don't position so that you get the position right. And then when you're moving off from here, there's a bit of a hill, try using the handbrake so that you don't end up stalling as you're trying to move off. Get the car to a good biting point, and then try to move off. Now the next bit here is going to be at the roundabout. We're going to follow directions for Crystal Palace, which is going to be a right turn. It's a mini roundabout, but before you get to the mini roundabout, again, there's another zebra crossing there. Look out for pedestrians. Then you check your mirrors, put the right signal. Now this is, again, it can be very busy during the day, but I've done so. Again, look out for cars coming from your right. Now if you got cars coming from the opposite direction, if they're turning right, now this car, okay, now the car has gone. Now I'm waiting for the bike on the right, and then if it's clear, then we turn right. And then, now this is straightforward, there's nothing here. Another zebra crossing here. Look out for cars coming from the road on the right side. They tend to sort of push in there, so look out for them. Now we're gonna be turning right here, side into Sainsbury's. Now so position you would need to keep in the middle of the aisle, in the central reservation here, and then make sure that you turn at the right. You take the right turn, don't turn too soon, and then you turn in here, and then you would be doing your bay parking from the car park, and then you head again. Keep it nice and slow as you go around this bend, depending on how they take you around, but then you've done the bay parking, and then you're coming out again. When you're turning left, now these are two, again you can see there are two lanes for right and left, so keep in the left lane. You come to the junction here, again good observations, don't rush it, take your time. It's clear, then you merge. Yeah, this looks clear at the moment. Then again you're coming back to the same zebra crossing. Look out for pedestrians that could be waiting to cross. Come to the mini roundabout. Directions for Croydon Town Centre, which would be left at the mini roundabout. Put the left signal on. Again, another zebra crossing there. Look out. Look for cars coming from your right. Make sure that there's nothing coming. If it's clear, then take the turn. Another zebra crossing shortly after turning left. Look out for that. And then another zebra crossing coming up. Again, look for any pedestrians waiting to cross. Give way. And then we're going to be turning right. Again, before that, there's a zebra. No, that's a speed camera. So check your mirrors first, put the right signal, and then position just left of the center. Normally, you would have to give way to cars coming straight. Make sure you stop at the turning point, and then turn right. Again, there's a car coming, so I wait for that car. It's a bit narrow, and then it's clear. Check your mirror, the signal, not signal, but check your blind spot before you get back into the position. Again, this is still a bit of a narrow sort of road. We're trying to keep the car pretty much in the center of the lane, but still looking out for cars that could be coming out from the other side, so that we can give them way or they can give us way, depending on who's got the right of way. So we're coming towards the end. So at the end, again, this road is still a bit narrow. You need to be looking out. The cars tends to be quite narrow as you're coming towards the end. Check your mirrors, signal, and then Okay, look out, make sure that there's nothing coming on your right. At this mini roundabout, we're turning right. Now, again, make sure that you look out for cars coming from your right. And then if it's clear, and then avoid going in the middle of that circle. We need to go around it. Then we've got a zebra crossing there again. Look out for that zebra crossing. Make sure that you pretty much look out for pedestrians waiting to cross at that point. Again, it can okay, looking clear. Then the next instruction would be turning right. Now, when you're coming to turn right at this junction here, you need to give way to cars coming straight. Looks clear. And then we turn right. And then follow that bend. It's a bit of a bendy sort of road here. So follow the bend. Just keep it nice and slow as you go around the bend. Avoid holding the clutch when you're going around that bend. Just use the brakes to keep it nice and slow. Just tapping the brakes gently. And then we take the next left. Now again, this is a bit of a blind one. You can't really see it, but look out. Once you spot the junction, check your mirrors, put the left signal, and then try and, when you're turning, another common mistake, people tend to come in a bit too fast here, and then they end up pretty much onto the other side, onto the opposite side of the road. So try and keep it nice and slow as you're turning into this road. Again, meeting situations here is a bit too narrow. Look out for pedestrians. Look out for oncoming traffic. Make sure it's clear. And then at the mini roundabout, we would be going straight ahead at the mini roundabout. So on this one, again, it's quite a closed one, so you have to slow down a lot more. Possibly drop it back to gear number 1 so that you can have a good look of what's coming in on your right, and only if it's clear, then you can merge. And then if you got cars coming from the opposite direction turning right, again, you have to give way to those cars. Now they normally ask you to pull up on this road here as well. Now it's a bit of again, it's quite narrow. So here so we've pulled up, and you might be asked to pull up a bit close to the car in front. So you're going to move off at an angle where the gap is a bit too tight. So again, you need to try and use good clutch control, moving very slow so that you don't end up too close to that car. Good observations, signal, final check, make sure it's clear. And as you move out, keep it nice and slow, good clutch control. Look out. Okay, there's a van coming. So, okay, the van is gone. I continue. There's a car coming from behind. I wait for that car. And then once that car has gone, then I continue to come in nice and slow until then once I've gone out enough, I start turning back so that I don't end up crossing too far onto the other side of the road. And then if it's clear, then I proceed. Now this is a bit of again, narrow sort of road, cars parked on both sides, potential for meeting situations. Look out if you spot any car coming from the other side. Look out for a gap where you can pull up, or he could be able to pull up for you, depending on who's got the right of way. The speed limit on this road is 20, so try not to overspeed. Okay, so there's a van there, so that van had to give way to us because we were committed to come. So he had plenty of room where he could pull up, so he pulled up. Now the next instruction, we're going to be turning left. Again, it's quite a bit of a blind one. If you don't spot it, you could end up missing it, so you would be looking out. It's coming up here. Check your mirrors, put the left signal, and then you would be slowing down so that you can take this turn properly. Otherwise, if you come in a bit too fast, again, you end up pretty much crossing over to the other side. Now the next situation here is a give way. Now if you look at the sign on the left, there's a give way sign there. Where is that sign? Yes, you can't see it, but there's a so we have to give way to the cars coming. We have to give way to oncoming traffic, so be mindful of that. And then at the end, turning right, that's a very narrow sort of bridge. Again, make sure that you get that position right. We're coming to turn right. Another common mistake somebody has done is ended up on the right side, which is, again, you need to keep the car on the left position, normal driving. Now when you're coming out of here, again, make sure that if you got cars coming to turn right, wait for those cars to fully turn before you start merging out, before you start pulling out. And then on your left, on your right rather, we've got a zebra crossing. Again, look out for pedestrians that could be crossing at this zebra crossing. Now this road is again a bit narrow, and we've got a bus which comes along this road. Again, look out for the buses, mainly the bus, but I don't think so. Again, if it gets a bit too narrow, try to, if the bus is coming and you feel there's not enough gap, try to pull up in the gaps between the cars so that you can let the bus go. And then the next situation you've got here is we're coming to a not, we're approaching a no entry. Again, look out for that no entry so that you don't end up going. So if that's a no entry, so you have to sort of follow the road to the left to avoid going into the no entry. And then we come to the end of this road, we're turning left. Now here, this is again the lens here is you need to position left enough so that it should be two cars to fit in this. So there should be two cars, there should be two lanes. So there's no line demarcating the two lanes, but it's, if you position the car correctly, there should be enough room for cars turning right. So if you position left enough, and then you merge, make sure it's clear. And then traffic lights, again, make sure you don't run through the red lights. Now on this one, we've got a cycle lane on the left. Avoid going into the cycle lane on the left, and the speed limit is 20 as well. People tend to miss that, the speed limit. It's quite a new speed limit, so you need to make sure that you don't end up over speeding as you're coming down this London road. Keep the speed at 20 and keep clear of the cycle lane. Now, okay, there's a speed camera coming up ahead, so make sure that you don't end up over speeding and end up getting caught at the speed camera. Now we're going to be taking the next left, so we'll check your mirrors first, center and left signal, and then you would Take that turn. Nice, good position. And then we would take the next right. So check your mirrors, center and right signal. The other common mistake people tend to do is they come in a bit too fast. Taking this right turn is quite sharp. So I would put the signal and slow down a bit, drop it back to gear number 1. Make sure that you can have a good view of what's coming in from the road you're turning into before you rush in. Otherwise, you could end up with a car coming towards you, and then so slow down. Make sure that it's clear before you fully merge, you fully turn. If you got the car coming, stop and assess the situation before. Now the next situation here, we're going straight, it's a crossroad. But again, the mistake people tend to do, they don't realize that it's a junction, and they end up sort of shooting off through this junction without stopping to check. So you need to stop, back to gear number 1, have a good look, check both left and right before you proceed to cross the junction. Then we turn right. Again, check your mirrors, put the right signal. It's a quite narrow sort of road, so you would possibly end up into the middle of the road. And then when you start to, as you merge onto this road, it's quite a narrow sort of road. It's a blind junction, so you can't really see what's coming in because of parked cars on both sides. So you'd come out slowly, trying to peep as you creep. Peep and creep, checking both sides until you can be able to see clearly what's coming, and then, only then, you can commit to turn into this road here. Again, still quite a narrow sort of road. Keep it clear. So at the end of the road, we're turning left. So the mistake here would be when you come to turn left here, there's a bus lane on the left. Again, so the mistake, if you turn too sharp, you're gonna end up into this bus lane here. It's on the left side. So we need to look out for that bus lane, make sure that we don't end up into the bus lane. And then if it's clear, we merge, make sure it's clear, keeping away from the bus lane. And then proceed